everyone. I am Victor Young, your host of The Daily Life Coach. We have a fantastic episode in store for you this evening. We have a very special doctor in the house and at the perfect time, I should say. We have a doctor. Dr. Jenny is in the house. Do you prefer Dr. Jen or Dr. Jenny?
Dr. Jenny is what most people call me, but I'm kind of digging the Dr. Jen now.
Really? I'm growing you up. I'm getting you mature. Dr. Jen. Dr. Jen. Dr. Jenny.
Yes,
Tell us about yourself and.
Oh my goodness, yes. I became a doctor back in 2015.
Wowzers.
Yes, I graduated from Trinity University with my Doctor of Naturopathic Medicine. But before that, I got my master's in biochemistry. And I was a compounding pharmacy tech biochemist for years. I have worked in the pharmaceutical sector since, oh my goodness, I was in middle school. So I was 14 years old. My first job was in a pharmacy, Publix pharmacy.
So explain what compounding means, because we have viewers from all over the world, and so sometimes we'll use terms that are used here in the States that are common to us, but
I'm so happy that you asked me that,
Yeah.
because it's not a compound. We're not locking anybody up, that type of pharmacy. So compounding pharmacies are in a completely different sector than allopathic pharmacies. So you have allopathic medicine, which is mainstream.
Okay.
You go to a doctor's office. They write you a script for the pink pill, the yellow pill, the purple pill, the black pill, the death pill, all these Band-Aids for boo-boos, and that patient then goes to a Walgreens, a CVS. Those are normal retail pharmacies, allopathic pharmacies. That sector is big, but the specialty pharmacy sector, compounding pharmacies, you go to a doctor that realizes, oh wow, this patient that I'm now seeing has an allergic reaction to a commercially available drug. So that medication has to be customized to the individual. For example, there are very limited amount of drugs for pediatrics. Big Pharma just doesn't do enough research and just doesn't want to invest money in the pediatric sector for children. Think about how silly it is to prescribe a medication that's meant for an adult. How would you convert that to a baby or a 2-year-old or a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old, somebody that's underneath the recommended weight for medications, like an antibiotic, or a baby has difficulty swallowing, right? They can't swallow pills, so you have to develop a medication that little patient can take.
So when my grandmother used to just rub some whiskey on my gums and slap me on the back and make me swallow it.
That's compounding, whiskey is medicinal. Maybe that'll be the next movement, prescription whiskey. Some horse soldier whiskey.
Good old horse soldier. That's good stuff, by the way.
That is good stuff. That's the only whiskey that can make me go to sleep. It turns off my brain. And whiskey does have medicinal properties. It's antiviral. It's antibacterial. Speaking of viruses, we've got this big, huge virus running around called the coronavirus.
COVID.
Right? Yes.
COVID-19.
COVID-19.
Sounds so official when they say COVID.
It does. It sounds almost like some sort of stealth operation with the military going, we're going COVID-19 now.
So why did the scientists change the name? They just had to give it a medical name? And how did it, that's kind of interesting to have two names. It's like having a nickname.
Yeah, it is. And it's in the same family as SARS or the rhinovirus, but it's a mutated version of it. So our body doesn't have natural antibodies to defend itself. I mean, there's a lot of speculation out there about this being a man-made drug, right? So the Chinese are blaming Americans, and Americans are blaming either the left or the right that are responsible. I mean, it's just, when I see things like this, I just can't help but come on, guys, it's out there now. This is a time where the whole entire world is in crisis.
Yeah.
This should be a time where people are coming together to resolve and give people the tools that they need to know how to combat it.
Yeah.
Just like any other virus, right? Viruses have been around since the beginning of time. So how does the body combat viruses? And viruses mutate, and that's what's going to happen with the COVID-19, with the coronavirus. We will have a season of COVID-19, but mutate. Next year's COVID-19 is going to be completely different. Just like the flu virus strains mutate every single year. Right? So this is going to be a season for that. So preparing people for how does one combat this virus? how do you take precautionary measures to make sure your body has the tools? And the only people that are really truly being affected are people with autoimmune disorders that have weakened immune systems. So MS, Parkinson's, Crohn's disease, Lyme's disease, fibromyalgia. There's many other different autoimmune disorders. But someone that has your grandma, so somebody that's over 70 years old is going to be way more susceptible because their bodies are already weak. They're already brittle. They're already, the aging process has hit them and they're degenerating at a faster rate than somebody that's 25 or 20 years old or 16 years old.
So not to get off the subject, because we need to definitely stay on this coronavirus topic, because that's what everyone's listening in for today. But you mentioned aging. Tell us about your aging facility.
All right, so Age Vital Pharmacy is my company.
Yes.
I incorporated Age Vital back in 2012, and it was through being immersed in the pharmaceutical sector. I've worked for all the big pharmaceutical companies. I know what they tell their pharmaceutical reps to say when they go into doctors' offices. I worked in the retail sector. I worked for Walgreens. I worked for Target Pharmacy. I worked for Publix Pharmacy. And I just got sick and tired of watching, even though I was a pharmacy tech, I got sick and tired of watching my patients fall apart. I would have these gorgeous supermodels as clients, patients coming in to pick up their scripts. They would get, for example, kidney stones. And after their surgery, the doctors would write them a script for a 30-day supply of opiates.
Wow.
And they would come back 30 days later, and by that time, after the third or fourth dose, they're already addicted. Their brain chemistry has completely changed, and this is not information that doctors in general provide to the patient. They just write the script, and then they're hungry for more. The brain is saying, feed me, feed me. They're having the withdrawal symptoms, and this gorgeous person starts to degenerate. And I see this beautiful person all of a sudden become a junkie.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, who's going to take responsibility for being the person to prescribe this medication to this person? So if we're going to be prescribing medications like this, we also have to educate the consumer how to get off of that medication too, and to teach them that this is not something that you're taking forever. And as opposed to giving an opiates, I mean, we have natural pain killers within our body that's built in us. God wasn't confused at creation when he made us. Our bodies degenerate and our bodies start falling apart because we're the ones that degenerate it with our foods, with the pollutants in our air, with the GMOs, with our produce. 90% of produce of crops are from genetically modified organisms, meaning that this is lab-made food. You go to places like McDonald's, the fast food restaurants, Taco Bell, Burger King,
they've got to keep up with the demand, the supply and demand. So
and
they got to make it grow faster.
If they're bastardizing our food, for lack of a better term, right? How do we support a lifestyle of constantly being polluted?
So what do you eat? Because you are very hyper. You're the most energetic doctor I've ever met. I had to put a little foam pad in front of you to slap on the table and move around over here.
So sorry. I'm so sorry.
Now it's awesome.
I tell people I'm getting high off of my B12 shots. I'm getting high off of my vitamin C IV bags. So no, for real, I'm what's called a flexitarian.
Okay.
So flexitarians have flexible diets. And to me, that's the best type of diet to be on, because you're not telling yourself no. Anybody, all my patients, they get frustrated, right? That's like telling somebody you can never have that ever again. Well, that's not something you want to tell anybody.
Right.
I want to be able to have a cocktail. I want to be able to eat a piece of chocolate or enjoy a pancake or a burger or fried chicken. Okay, once in a while, Dr. Jenny goes to KFC and gets herself a little, fried chicken.
I've got a friend named Ray who's a flexitarian, I think, but he's a little different than you.
But 90% when you're a flexitarian, 90% of the time, you're eating super clean. You're eating pescatarian. You're eating keto. So you're feeding yourself fish and you're feeding yourself vegetables, but at the end of the week you're flexible and you program your cheat days. So I tell everybody's a cheater, okay? When it comes to eating, even if you say you're not, everybody cheats with something. I don't care who you are. I will always find it underneath a microscope and know how you're cheating. I'm like,
so tell us about that. So you have this process where you pricking your finger or something. Is that what you do?
Yes, I do live blood cell
So you don't even have to
analysis.
do like a full draw. You just have to prick a finger and you can put it under a microscope and is that how you do it?
Oh my gosh, yes. And I love doing that because it gives the consumer actual data for them to look at. So when someone comes in and they don't have health insurance, I'm like, well, let's do a blood analysis right now. Let's see what your blood is doing. So it's called live blood because the blood is live and active, and you see all these red blood cells, running across the microscope back and forth, and you can see bacteria, you can see viruses, you can see parasites. Oh my goodness, I hate to tell you, Victor, but 70% of the people I test have parasites. And they're walking around with these parasites. And what do these little parasites do? What's their end game? They want to eat all your nutrients.
Yeah.
So when someone's coming to me saying, I'm tired all the time, I'm craving sugar all the time, I'm gassy, I'm bloated, and then when I prick their finger, I was like, well, hello.
That's my brother Fred.
Look at what you have in your blood. You have a parasite. And how long have these parasites been in there? They're eating all your nutrition. So that's why you're tired. That's why you're craving sugar, because they're eating all your sugar. So you're craving, your body's craving it. So I'm teaching them how to detox, how to, have better diets, how to make better selections when they go shopping. I mean, I don't really have like a lot of rules, but the rules that I do have are very functional. Functional meaning it's supported by evidence, it's peer reviewed. Internationally, doctors, my colleagues have come together and said, okay, this is without a doubt absolutely the best way to eat.
Wow. How long does it take to do the blood screen? If you screen someone's blood, like how long does it take before you actually could see those things, like a parasite or a virus or a bacteria? Is it like a lengthy process? Or?
Oh no, 5 minutes.
Wow.
I can do 5 minutes, and then I can spend an hour reviewing it with them and telling them and educating them. So, but I have to.
And where's your pharmacy located?
1618 Main Street in the beautiful Sarasota, Florida.
Wow.
Top beaches of the world.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So we talked about blood. We talked about the coronavirus. Right now these tests are hard to find for people. They're not testing everyone. And there's so many people that are walking around, and it's like they don't know if they have it. They have symptoms of the flu. And what would you suggest for someone like that who just, they can't get tested, they don't really feel horrible, but they think they could have coronavirus? What would you recommend for that person to do?
Well, see, here's the great news, Victor.
Okay.
The CDC has given test kits, X amount of test kits for each pharmacy. So all pharmacy owners, CVS has the test kits, so they don't even have to go to the hospital. You can actually order it from CVS, or you can go into a CVS, or you can come to Age Vital. The people can give us a call, and then we ship a testing kit directly, to their home. And it's a swab. It's a nasal swab and it's a mouth swab. It takes seconds to actually do the analytics of it, and then it gets shipped up to the CDC where they evaluate it.
Interesting.
So I'm actually getting a big batch. I'm allowed 300 at my facility. And those 300 go really fast. And then the next
Now, do you guys have a website in case our listeners want to order some of those from you?
Yep, agevital.com. That's AGEVITAL.com. So agewell, agevital.com. So
now, why Age Vital?
Because aging is vital for your health. Right? I'm not telling people stop aging because you're going to age.
Right.
But you can age gracefully and age vitally. Health and vitality at every age. There is no reason that we shouldn't be living to be 130 years old and die of natural causes. Very rarely will you run into a doctor that says, yes, my patient Jane Doe died of a natural cause. Typically on their death certificate, it says died of MS, of Parkinson's, of, abnormal.
Heart attack, stroke, whatever.
Heart attack. Right. But what is a natural cause of death?
So I'm not greedy. I don't want to get to 130, but I would like to see 100, maybe 110. I mean, I'm not trying to live forever, but...
Look at your metabolic age. They're doing that with genetic. Body needs maintenance, just like a car. So that's the difference between a classic Ferrari, right? And
let's say a Lamborghini.
Okay, I knew you were going to say
Let's
that.
use Lamborghini.
Let's do Lamborghini. So you want your Lamborghini to be fine-tuned, right?
Absolutely.
So how do you maintenance your Lamborghini? You take it to the mechanic regularly.
Yeah.
Before that little red light pops up that says, your carburetor, your engine, your this, your that, blah, 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 blah. Go to the mechanics when they're telling you X amount of miles. Most people with their literal mechanics, their bodies, they supersede those miles. So you have to go rotate your tires, look at your spark plugs, change your gas, open up that hood, and maintenance it.
I always like to say there's
beautiful.
two different types of people. There's the individual who comes in on a tow truck, a.k.a. an ambulance. And there's the individual who likes the preventative, who likes to, like you said, keep their tires inflated and preventative maintenance and keep their car running and their body performing properly.
Right. Look at these classic automobiles from the 1930s and 40s and 50s. They look brand new because someone took the time to take care of it. So our bodies are not any different. Take care of your body and your body will take care of you. Everything in this country, especially Victor, is designed to give us something. Obesity, dementia, carcinogenic. We live in toxic Babylon. What I mean by that is like, wow, there's no way around it. Our phones, we're not going to give up our phones. We're not going to give up our 5G.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't give up our 4G, and we had the science, the 3G. We knew what the side effects were, the autoimmune disorders, but no one talks about prevention. Prevention is key. Maintenance is key.
I read an article on that, and I've got to follow up with it. There's a scientist that talked about the 60 megahertz speed of 5G and how it interrupts the oxygen levels that go into the human body.
Yeah.
And he's saying that we're going to see a lot of respiratory issues in the future and other viruses and...
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's getting rid of the microbiome in our gut. Those are our little critters that protect our immune system, that actually manufacture nutrients. Like microbiome, people know microbiome as probiotics. It's what you get out of yogurt.
Right.
So the more of these tiny little soldiers that you have in your system, the more you are protected with your immune system.
And so those can be affected by
5G. It can be affected.
Yeah.
It destroys it. So then you have to make sure that you keep replenishing. Replenish. It's called, hormone replacement therapy, microbiome replacement therapy, nutritional replacement therapy. Just like eating. It is such a simple concept, right? You hungry, you eat. You replaced the food that you needed, right? Your body went through all of the reserves, converted all of your foods from yesterday into energy for today. So today doesn't mean I'm not going to eat again. You have to eat on a daily basis. You have to drink water every day. Water replacement therapy, food replacement therapy. So this is something that you do continuously just to make sure your mechanics runs more efficiently and optimally. And that's when I come into play because I'm like the Lamborghini engineer. I have a Lamborghini, just saying. A hot yellow one.
Hot yellow Lamborghini.
Yep. But I maintenance is, Ferraris and BMWs and Mercedes, whatever kind of car you are, you have to maintenance it, take care of it.
This is true.
Yeah. Especially me. I have 4 kids. Oh my gosh, it looks like a toy store threw up in my car. With 3 little girls, and every day I'm like, no, I'm not gonna let them eat in my car, and I'm like, here, be quiet, kids. And
so if I let you eat, you'll be quiet.
Yes, they are. They're
okay.
Quiet. Okay, well, go and get some fries. Oh, get an ice cream cone. They're eating and then mess. I'm like, what am I doing? They're so cute, but yeah, maintenance is the key, and age vital. All my slogans are health and vitality at every age, biology before pharmacology. Before going to allopathic medicine, find out how your body is supposed to function and then put back in your body what it's missing, what it's lacking, what it's not manufacturing. I have an endless amount of testimonials. I can't even tell you how many now. I mean, it's in the thousands somewhere. Women with breast cancer, with colon cancer, with people with tumors, people with anxiety and insomnia, with migraines. Migraines, like a really good one. That's a $290 billion industry for big pharma with the ibuprofen, the NSAIDs, right? The acetaminophen, the naproxen, the aspirin, the sumatriptan, the tamoxifen, the Imitrex, the butalbital. I'm just listing of all the drugs that they prescribe for migraines. Mm-hmm. People take these medications, but you're not ibuprofen deficient.
Yeah.
I'm not going to test you to see, what are my Advil levels, doctor? I need some Advil for my migraines. No, but you are B12 deficient. Mm-hmm. You can be progesterone deficient, testosterone, thyroid deficient, CoQ10 deficiency, vitamin D deficiency. And these are nutrients that are all linked to, if you're deficient in it, can lead to migraines. Women that have debilitating migraines, their hormones are fluctuating all day long. It's like, women are not an on-off switch like men. Men are super simple. Help me with my sex, give me some energy, and I want to sleep well and be a healthy weight. 4 things. Women are hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, this, that, yeah.
Woo! My goodness, that's a lot to deal with.
It is
gentlemen,
so much easier.
See what we have to deal with, gentlemen? Oh my gosh. This is so complicated.
I feel for you, brother.
So I've got a question for you. Booming industry, medical cannabis and CBD?
I love cannabis.
What do you think about it? Tell me about it.
I'm a big advocate. So if you haven't been to one of the conferences that I speak at pretty much every single conference internationally. I speak at the MJ BizCon, the Florida Medical Cannabis Conference and Expo, the Kush Conventions, the CBD Expos. I'm everywhere. My talking list, I must do at least 50 of these a year, just educating about functional cannabinoid use. And what that means, cannabis, number one, we have a system for what that's called the endocannabinoid system, just like we have the endocrine system. Endocrine regulates hormones. Endocannabinoid regulates cannabinoids. And we have 110 successfully isolated cannabinoids. Cannabinoids is a list of all of these organic acids like CBD, CBG, CBN, CBL. THC is probably the most popular one that's out there. And everybody's heard of CBD now. But this system modulates in our body. It is literally the conductor for our metabolic orchestra. So how do we maintain that endocannabinoid system? And a misconception that people have is cannabinoids are only in the cannabis plant. No, that's not true. Cannabinoids are in spinach. It's in chocolate. It's in kale. It's in mangoes. Mangoes have more cannabinoids.
So that's why I get the munchies when I eat kale.
Yeah. Do you get the munchies? Oh my goodness.
It's the gateway to me eating something. So CBG, you mentioned CBG. What?
Cannabigerol, yep.
So they just kind of work differently? Do they absorb differently? They have different properties or characteristics?
Each one has a different property and what it does within the body. CBG is antiviral. It's antifungal. The CBG on plants is what protects the plant from getting fungal infections, different type of viruses. Plants get viruses. I had a plant in my yard forever that started growing all of this spotty stuff. And I'm like, oh, my poor plant's deficient in CBG. So Victor, I kid you not, I made a CBG spray for my plant and I started spraying it on my plant at its roots. And that fungus went away.
That's got to be the world's most expensive plant.
Right? No, it's not that expensive. It's a big, beautiful palm tree, but I've felt sorry for it. I'm like, you poor thing, no one's taking care of you. So I sprayed this CBG solution that I made in a spray. That's all it needs. So same thing. I make CBG for vaginal yeast infections, CBD suppositories, CBD topical creams. Herpes virus is rampant in this country right now. You have 96% of the population that has herpes simplex, which hits the lips, the mouth, right? 96% of our population has herpes of the mouth right now. And then you have over 60% of the population that now gets genital herpes. It's called the herpes zoster, right? And in each one of those viral infections, it mutates just like the coronavirus does. You have like 16 different variations of the herpes viruses. But CBD and CBG put into a topical vaginal cream or into a lip balm or into a capsule form gets rid of these viruses.
Wow.
It's antiviral. So I have patients that no longer have breakouts anymore. I even combine it with L-lysine, which is another antiviral. So these right now, I'm giving you natural solutions just for the coronavirus. So if this is antiviral for these things, viruses act the same, right? Very similar. The end game for viruses is attacking your immune system, wreaking havoc on your metabolics.
So if I wanted to attack my immune system and get ahead of, protect myself from some of these viruses, say the coronavirus, what type of, I know you do like injections, you have all these different things, all these different weapons.
Weapons, I love that. Yes, metabolic weapons.
What is like a regimen or something that you would recommend that everyone over the age of 50 should have that's like vital to them? Matter of fact, I'm going to ask you this way. So I'm going to ask you the filmmaker way of questioning.
Oh.
So when I write, I like to look at someone's life. So if someone's 50 years old and I'm developing this character, and I like to say, okay, when they were from birth to 10 years old, what happened in their life? And then from 11 years old or 10 to 20, what was their life like? And then from 20 to 30, what made them who they are today and how do they contribute? If I look at healthcare from that standpoint of how should I treat my body, or what are some of the nutrients that maybe I needed at some of those young ages, and then when I've turned 50 to 60, what are some of those things I might add, or 60 to 70? Are there different things that we should have, or are there just like those core nutrients that we should always have no matter what age we are? I mean, how do you look at those types of solutions and weapons for us to stay ahead of them?
I really like the way you think. You should know that, because I'm going to start using that from now on, too.
You can use it.
Yes, I'm stealing it. Hope you didn't.
I'm going to give you a
trademark
licensing deal like Mr. Wonderful. So for every time you use that and they show it on one of your shows,
I'll always give you props. I'll be like,
I just want
Victor.
10 cents. That's all. 10 cents per
10
time.
cents? Whoa, that's good. As long as I'm making
Not
10
when
cents.
All right, go ahead.
No, but you're right. Your body's a lot stronger when it's younger. And as you start, the aging process starts kicking in, yes, your demand for nutrients and support becomes higher. The elderly, 100%, anybody over 50, everybody should be on a probiotic. But you should always, double the strengths are going to be a little bit differently as you age. For my elderly patients, anybody over 50, I tell them you need to be on a fully systemic probiotic and smart probiotics that actually grow with your body. And not, because you have so many different probiotics over the counter, even drinks, and that probiotics can work against you if it's not regulated. And that's another industry that's not regulated. So taking a 15 strain probiotics, number one, that means it's refrigerated and it's intelligent. It grows with you as you age. And then you always triple up when you feel like you're coming down with a cold. Anytime I feel like, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, I'm going to take an extra 3. I have a product called GI Torque, and that's a 15 strain. It's got to be
GI Torque?
GI Torque.
I'm
the
sorry.
names?
I thought you said twerk. I'm sorry.
Not twerk. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Doc.
That's a good GI Twerk.
Sorry, Doc.
That'll be a good prescription sexual health product. GI Twerk. I'm naming my next sexual product after Victor.
There's a very active older community here in Sarasota, so I don't know, maybe it works for them, but go ahead.
We live in the geriatric capital of the world.
Yes, we do.
Here, and some of my most favorite clients are over 80.
Wow.
And I have this 96-year-old patient from Longboat Key, and he rushes in every 3 weeks to get his happy Viagra pills that I make. I make my own Viagra because it works better. Guys get erections in less than a minute as opposed to 45 minutes.
Wow.
Right? I do a compounded sildenafil citrate, and it dissolves underneath the tongue. I should name it GI Twerk.
Now, I definitely want my 10 cents a pill.
I know, that one. We'll do a licensing. We'll talk afterwards, all right? I'll work with you.
Okay.
But yeah, he's like, I have to. My lady friend's flying in. I have to. Oh, okay. He's like, get me at least 4 to get me by through the weekend.
96 years old.
96 years old. Looks like he's in his mid-50s because I keep him sharp as a fiddle and strong and healthy. And
wow.
Yep. And he knows Dr. Jenny's going to take care of him. And my staff is so knowledgeable. My pharmacists, my RNs, my doctors. I have a translational medical team that works for me, from pharmacy technicians, LPNs, RNs, CNAs, health coaches, nutritional experts, MDs, DOs. I have everybody that I employ in my facility, and they all know my protocols. They all know my heartbeat, and it's always focusing on the body, not the drug. And then how do we get people off of those drugs? But yeah, these Viagra pills work really, really well.
I like your approach to getting people off of these drugs. These lab-made. Just.
Yeah, Adderall is a perfect example, right? I think you and I were talking at one time in 2013. Psychology Today published an article stating that 86 million Americans were on neuropsychiatric drugs.
That's amazing.
We should be appalled by those numbers.
Yeah.
And here's the worst of that statistic. 15 million of those numbers were children ages 5.
Oh my gosh.
Taking Adderall? Come on, moms and dads. What are we doing? Do we love our kids, or do we want to make little baby Hitlers? Because that's what we're doing.
Right.
Hitler was the #1 abuser of Adderall.
I had no idea.
This is what he gave the Jews in the concentration camps to suppress their hunger. But one of the side effects of Adderall, 2 of the side effects, mania and schizophrenia. So why would we give our children, our tiny little minds that are still developing, a medication that reprograms their DNA and causes psychosis?
Wow.
So obviously there's a link between that, right? In that same study, it showed that the generation from ages 5 to 12 that are taking Adderall, just Adderall, is the psychotic generation when they're in their late 20s.
Wow.
So we're creating psychopaths. And look at the school shootings, Victor. This is so sad. Okay, children stabbing, shooting, biting. Has America gone mad? What are America's Band-Aids for boo-boos? Adderall is America's Band-Aid.
What's a suggestion for those parents who are out there considering Adderall? What's another solution that can be used?
CBD,
CBD?
B12, and CoQ10. Combine the three. Call a facility like me. I'll make a drug. I have CBD over the counter, rapid dissolving tablet CBDs. Children love it. Or I do lollipops, or I do gummy bears without any sugar. I sweeten everything with honey or L-glycine, natural sugar sources, natural sweeteners. L-glycine is an amino acid, regulates glucose, helps you to sleep, and then it tastes exactly like sugar. It's amazing. Honey doesn't spike glucose. It's antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral. So you're taking honey. Honey will never grow mold on it. You can leave it out to spoil. It'll never spoil.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You use it for wound care. But I sweeten kids' products with honey. But CBD, 50 milligrams taken 3 times a day for children with ADD. Adults with ADD take CBD. They do better in school. I give it to my own children. I have 4 children under 13. Anytime I see my children act out spastic or having some issues, focusing or they're combative with one another, all right, guys, it's time for your CBD. And this is the non-psychotropic cannabinoid. It doesn't get you high. It's only going to feed and nourish the brain of the children. It's going to help them to develop better. I took CBD throughout my entire pregnancy.
So there's no THC in it?
There's no THC in it. So you're not going to have little, kids like, ooh, singing Kumbaya, my Lord.
So how about that guy who works in an environment where they drug test? Is that something that's considered? The THC is the illegal part, is it? Is it not?
Well, THC is legal as long as you have your medical card.
Correct.
Yep. So in Florida, it's different in different states right now. Regulations are different. Nobody can agree on anything. I wish it would be the same across the board. That would be amazing if our government would just say, okay, recreational, legal, medicinal cannabis, legal.
Right.
Go to your doctor. You go to places like Israel. You go to places like Peru. You go to places like Latvia and Germany. They already have cannabis in the prescription sector. You go to a doctor and the doctor can write for THC, CBD, CBG as a script, just like they were writing any prescription. You take it to the pharmacist and they fill it for you, or they make you the medication.
So what's the benefit of buying cannabis from
a dispensary?
A dispensary, a pharmacy, a dispensary versus hitting that Pookie in them at the corner.
7-Eleven. Well, it's regulated. You know that pharmacy is going to have their standards are going to be way different. I'm regulated by the FDA, the DEA, Board of Medicine, and Board of Pharmacy.
Okay.
So 7-Eleven isn't. You have no idea where that CBD product is coming from. You should never buy medicine from a gas station. Go to the medicine experts, right? I did a meme like that. Come on, guys, you're killing me. Stop buying your
Wawa's does have good, what are those little potato wedges, though?
Oh, yum, yeah. I have to detox you.
Yes, I need a detox.
I have my cleanses.
I need a detox, Doc. I need one.
Oh my goodness, potato wedges. But yeah, and then dispensary is the same thing. This is a regulated dispensary, a medical dispensary for cannabis. You have COAs, Certificate of Authentications, right? And with that COA, you're able to measure the amount of parasites or mold or heavy metals or fungus. It's like, who wants that? Half of the stuff out there. I just had the agricultural department just come to my facility the other day, and she was telling me horror stories of some of the stuff that they're testing from over the counter. It's not what it says it is.
Right.
Because 90% of it is not regulated, even with the vitamin industry.
So the COAs will also tell you how much CBG you might have.
Yes, right. And somebody might not want any of that.
Right.
They might just want plain CBD by itself. So
right.
How do you know? You want to make sure that what is on the label is what you're putting in your body with anything. The Centrum Silver is probably the most disgusting vitamin you can buy over the counter. It's the number one. There were studies done. It's the number one vitamin found in porta potties. Like, who wants to do that study? Who had, let me clean up some porta potties and see
The
what I
water
can
is
find.
blue and silver. It's just where's that silver hue in the water?
But it never broke down. That's the thing. It comes out in the stool, never broke down. It's fully intact. You can wash it off and rebottle it. How gross is that? So your grandma's taking vitamins that don't even break down in your gut. That's so gross because it's so compact with dyes and preservatives and fillers and excipients. Who wants that?
See,
You want a vitamin
for the
that
women
really
that are
feeds you.
listening, they're getting such an educational moment, and the guys were just cracking up for us because that's just so funny for guys.
But listen to what we've talked about. We're talking about sex, talking about cannabis, talking about coronavirus.
Porta potties.
I think we both need CBD for ADD right now. I think we both have a
So
little
this
bit of ADD.
coronavirus thing. So if you had to treat someone right now who had the coronavirus, what would your suggestion be?
I would give him a 100,000 IU vitamin shot of D3.
D3. We haven't
Vitamin
even. How do we
D3.
not bring up D3 until this point?
I know.
We completely missed
Because we have
D3.
ADD, party of two,
Wow.
doing a podcast.
Wow. hey, whoever listens to this podcast, you got so much more than we build this out to be on the promos. This is like, you should be paying for this podcast.
You're right. That's everything. Maybe you'll get people saying, we want to hear more about sex, you know? How do we get off of all of the, because there's a lot of bad sex products out there that don't work.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just like, you give a woman a shot of testosterone, men, she will be swinging off the chandeliers.
Testosterone.
Testosterone for women. It's very underutilized, and women go nuts. I've had women walking into my store, literally cross-legged, walking to the counter, pretty much making love to my counters while my technicians are like, what's going on here? And they're panting, saying, turn it off, turn it off. Turn it off. That's a true story.
Wow.
I need to start a reality TV show called The Pharmacy, because, boy, we get some crazy stories in the pharmacy.
Women, there you go, testosterone.
Testosterone injections. And they just need a couple injections throughout the year. Or they take a troche, or they do a cream.
What's a troche?
A troche, that is like a lozenge. So it's like a little sucker that you make that's sublingual, and it tastes like a candy, and you're getting small amounts of the testosterone while you're sucking it for 5-10 minutes.
Interesting. A troche.
A troche.
All right, get your wife a troche, gentlemen.
A testosterone troche.
Testosterone troche.
Or suppository. Yeah. I have this colleague that I make hormone line for. It's called Happy Hoo Hoo. Hormone Heaven. Who doesn't want a happy hoo hoo? And this doctor, Dr. Karen Leggett is her name. She's a midlife woman's expert. She was an OBGYN here in Sarasota for years. And now her mission in life is to make sure women are horny and sleeping well and losing weight and energetic.
Wow.
Saving one marriage at a time, I think she said. Yes.
That's awesome. That's a great mission.
It is. I'm thinking we love it. Yeah. You want to hear some stats on sexual health for women?
Sure.
Yeah. Over 70% of women fake their orgasms. Women, Why would you do that? Why would you fake? Don't let men have all the fun. Figure out why you're not into it. If he's into it and you're not into it, it's your hormones. It's not you. It's your body, your chemicals. And it's so simple to do a blood test, to look at your hormones. Testosterone test costs $50 to check. Every man for Valentine's Day or for their female's birthday or for Christmas, whatever special occasion, should have a hormone testing kit wrapped up.
So
with
how
a little
can you
bow
get
with chocolates.
how can you get a testosterone testing kit?
I do it via saliva and blood spot. My team will ship it to patients' houses, or they can come in and pick one up if they live here locally. We ship them all across the country. I'm licensed in all 50 states. Men everywhere and doctors everywhere buy these kits to sell to a woman somewhere that's suffering. They just don't have it. They're just like, my libido is like, right?
So how young can that happen with a female?
Oh, teenagers. Because,
Really?
yes, you have supplements. Birth control, number one, is the number one killer of sexual dysfunction for women. That kills their libido because it shuts down your testosterone production. Shuts down your ovarian function. Your body's not meant to be fed synthetic hormones, and birth control is all synthetic hormones. Why would you take synthetic hormones? Doesn't make any sense. And think about this. Does a doctor ever do laboratory tests to check to see if you need birth control? Never. So ladies, girls, moms, dads that are taking their 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds that have cramps from menstruations, and they're giving them orthotricycline or the Depo-Provera shot or the Seasonal. They never test for hormone deficiencies on that. That's malpractice right there. You shouldn't be given any synthetic hormones to anybody. Women going through menopause. The number one prescribed medication is Premarin. Premarin is derived from a pregnant horse's urine. Women, we're not horses. Why would you take horse hormone? And men, when they're going through andropause, the doctors prescribe the testosterone cypionate. It's a Depo test shot. That's derived from a bull's testes.
So
Victor,
men,
are you a bull?
So absolutely, but so men, if your wife is trotting around the house like a stallion, you is that a side effect of that?
That's a nice little positive twist on that. Right. No, the side effects is ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer, endometriosis. Who wants that?
Wow.
Synthetic hormones leads to that. The Women's Health Initiative did a huge study on that. Why would you take any type of synthetic hormones that belongs to an animal? We're not animals.
Yeah.
We have bioidentical hormones. Hormones are derived from soy and yams naturally. So you can isolate the molecules from soy and yams to make bioidentical hormones.
Why doesn't maybe a primary care physician or whatever type of family doctor, why do you think we don't see, tests for hormones and the things that you're talking about? Why do they recommend those things?
Oh, do you really want to know? You want to open up that box?
Hey, we've jumped all over the world. we're in Australia right now, coming back around. I mean, we might as well.
Oh, yes. Well, you have the big, huge pharmaceutical companies, and they have their pharmaceutical reps, and they have thousands of them in each territory that goes into doctors' offices pushing for their horse urine estrogen, their bull testosterone, their pig thyroid. For
Pig?
real?
Like a
Pig
pig?
thyroid, yes. And then a doctor or a pharmaceutical rep, it's only one molecular structure difference than the physiology of a human being. And I'm a biochemist going, okay, one molecule in biochemistry, that's huge. One molecular structure difference, that's the difference between Flipper and Lassie. Completely different. Or a salamander and Lassie. Not even in the same kingdom. Like,
Wow.
what? No, this is...
You leave the house and Lassie's there, you come back and Sal's in the house.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The salamander. But doctors do know about bioidentical hormones. You'll be surprised if a patient goes into, don't want synthetic hormones. I don't want synthetic anything. Patients, consumers, when you go to your doctors, you should be your own healthcare advocate. You're paying your doctor to take care of you. So in the end, you have the say. You tell your doctor. If your doctor is prescribing pig thyroid to you, be like, I'm not a pig.
Right.
Why are you giving me pig thyroid? I want physiologic thyroid. I want bioidentical thyroid.
Wow.
Right? Or if your doctor's writing for Xanax for anxiety, it's like, doc, I'm not Xanax deficient. Find out why I'm anxious. Do the investigative work. I want to know. Look at my nutritional levels. You can test for all this. They all have the tools, the resources to do it. They just have to get the lab requisition forms and fill it out. They can test for vitamin D, B12, CoQ10, vitamin A deficiency. I sell the kits right in my pharmacy. NutraEval. I do it through a company called Genova. It's probably my favorite. And it's a $500 kit, tests everything, vitamins and minerals and enzymes and probiotics and essential fatty acids and electrolytes. And then I have the comprehensive hormone kit. What else is in your physiology besides cannabinoids?
Yeah.
To test for cannabinoids. Once you get those results, then you can customize everything according to you. It's not cookie cutter.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing darts anymore. Now we know. Here you are. Look at your B12 levels. You're deficient, Victor. Or look at your progesterone levels or your estrogen levels. Let's get you fine-tuned.
So who needs a B12 or a D3 injection?
B12, I recommend for people that have glucose issues, so hyper or hypoglycemia, or diabetes, or macrocytic anemia or microcytic anemia. Someone that's tired all the time, has low energy, has cold hands. A lot of people will just get really cold hands. Let me touch. He's making me, no, you're nice, you're hot. That's good. Yeah, I can tell when someone has a thyroid issue when I shake their hands. You ever shake someone's hands and they're so cold and you're like, oh my gosh, let me check your thyroid, you poor thing. You're like a zombie, like a vampire.
Wow.
Right? And an easy way to check your thyroid is to test it throughout the whole entire day. I usually tell women that can't afford a thyroid test to test their hormones in the morning, to test their temperature in the morning. If it's 98.6, they're normal. If it's lower than that, in the 97, I have some women that said, oh my gosh, I'm 96. My temperature's 96.8 throughout the whole entire day. It's like, yes, you have adrenal fatigue. You have a thyroid disorder. We need to reboot your endocrine system. We need to reboot the stress hormone. So, and we live in a society where it's the hustle and bustle.
Right.
Everybody is overworked. They're tired. We're rushing everywhere. That's why fast foods are so popular, because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Babe, we're going to do Taco Bell tonight, or we're going to do KFC. I really don't feel like cooking a homemade meal. And the kids get, right?
Yeah.
That's it. I've been there. I'm guilty.
They get their chalupa.
Yeah. Cheesy gordita crunch.
So, and then how about D3?
Now, D3, vitamin D3 is actually more of a hormone than a vitamin. It is neurological, helps with people with MS, autoimmune disorders, huge for people with Parkinson's and MS because they're deficient. I have not tested one person with an autoimmune disorder that did not need vitamin D3. But again, we live in a society that tells you, stay away from the sun, it's evil. It's like, no, guys, we need the sun because we get your natural vitamin D3 from the sun, right? We're like walking plants. We need sunlight. We need that exposure. We're just like plants. We need to be watered, we need to be fertilized, and we need sunlight.
Yeah.
3 different things, right? And we even produce a chemical very similar to what plants produce, melanin in our skin. So when someone turns red, means they don't have enough melanin in their skin for their body. When your body tans, that's the defense mechanism. You and I are nice, and you got a better tan than me, Victor. Just saying, you know?
I've got a pretty nice tan. I need some lotion, though. I'm a little ashy, but...
Yeah, I'll help you with that. Probiotics.
Probiotics?
Yeah, probiotic cream.
I'm gonna leave here with like a $1,000 bag of stuff here. You know what, though? I'm excited. I'm gonna come and visit.
Yeah.
I want to come over and check the place out. I'm in that stage where I'm getting serious about my health.
Yeah.
And for men, I think we wait too late.
Yeah.
I see some men that wait until they're in their 60s and 70s, and I'm one of those guys. I like to show up early, and so I'm going to get more serious. Yeah, that's a problem.
You have 3 daughters.
Yeah.
You have a wife.
Yes.
You're running your corporations, your empire.
Absolutely.
Right? So you forget. I'm guilty of that. I have my staff remind me, Dr. Jenny, do your IV drip. I do a vitamin C IV drip with a glutathione push every Thursday. Just because I know I'm around, sick people all the time. So I'm making sure that I'm flushing all those, anything that could be forming. I don't even give anything an opportunity to form in my body because I'm flushing it out already with all my antivirals, antibacterials. And if I have a cocktail, I very rarely drink. I'm more of a cannabis person, right? Because cannabis enhances neurological functions, brain cells, cellular function, and alcohol takes away. So I always tell people, I prefer something that's not going to give me a headache or anything, the next day. But when I do enjoy a glass of wine or a fancy bottle of champagne, I take my probiotics right after and my L-glutamine powder. It regenerates the tissue in my gut because alcohol eats up the lining of your gut, and then it can lead to obesity. Because now you're destroying your intestinal tract. Yeah. And then your body starts to get bloated and gassy. And you're like, who wants that? I don't have time to be bloated and gassy and obese.
Nobody has time for that.
Nobody has time for that. But there are thousands of people, millions of people walking around with these symptoms. And it is so simple to fix. Acid reflux, GERD, heartburn. And they're like, yeah, I have acid and you live with it? You don't have to live with it. You can take your probiotics and your glutamine powder and it goes bye-bye.
So how important is your digestive system to your overall health? I hear people talk about their gut and how important it is to have a strong gut or a good gut.
Your entire immune system starts in your gut. Everything. This is like a fish tank. It's your ecosystem. So have you ever had a fish tank, Victor?
I have.
It's a pain in the arse to take care of.
In the 90s, I had my 55-gallon salt tank, and I would drive to the sponge docks with my boy, Mike Korn, and we'd get some fan coral every week.
Oh, nice.
And a new fish.
Oh.
Yeah, that was our thing.
But every day you have to alkaline the tank, right?
Oh, yeah, my goodness.
You had your little droppers and you have your little pH strips.
That's
Why
a lot
don't
of
you
work.
do that with your body? I sell the pH strips on my website just to test from your tongue, to lick, to see how well you're alkalined.
Wow.
So why aren't we treating our bodies the same way as we're treating a fish tank? Our gut is just like a fish tank.
Damn it, I'm more important than my fish tank.
Right.
What am I doing?
You're getting it. You can be taught. That's
My
it.
goodness. I've been neglecting myself and take care of my fish tank.
Right. You always forget.
You know, the problem is you mentioned it before. We get so busy. And guys, we have a habit of putting ourselves last. You know, moms, I look at busy moms and they wake up and they get the kids ready and they go to work and they do this and they do that and they run around all day. And then by the time they stop, it's like time to go to bed.
Yeah.
It can happen.
So you need to delegate in your family like I do with my children.
Yeah.
I tell my son, I tell my 9-year-old, remind mommy to take this and this every single day. Take care of me. I'm always, today, the first thing I did with my children was give them a vitamin D shot. The 5-year-old gave a vitamin D shot, my 8-year-old, my 9-year-old, and my 13-year-old to protect them from the coronavirus. And they know mommy's going to give it to them every single week. So I'm not losing you to no stinking virus.
Yeah.
We know how to combat that. And they're strong. I'm getting text messages from mommies because school's been out for a while now. It's just spring break came and went. And mommy's like, oh my gosh, we're quarantined and we don't know if we have it. We need a kit and we're all sick and we all have fevers. Gosh, guys, I wish you would have came to my store and, or ordered a vitamin D vial so you could be giving. You can stock these vials in your own house and give yourself your own injections.
Well,
To me, taking an injection is so much better than reminding myself to take some silly pill every day. That's just me personally. Some people love the pills and they'd rather do that, but you have to take a lot more, right? But the vitamin injections, boom, I feel great. I feel like I'm flying.
so once a week or
Once
how?
a week, I give myself a vitamin D shot, and my children too, and they're all ready for it. They know, okay, it's Tuesday. This is our shot day.
So something as simple as a vitamin D shot can boost your immune system and make it extremely difficult for any virus, including COVID-19 or the coronavirus,
Right.
to affect you.
Right, because it protects your heart, protects your lungs. So
Wow.
it's antiviral. And then the thing with the COVID-19, Victor, is its replication. So once it starts to replicate, it's wreaking havoc. So how do you stop the virus from replicating? Research shows that zinc stops the rhinovirus. Zinc stops SARS virus. These are viruses that are similar to COVID-19. They're very, very similar. And viruses do have a lot of similarities. So taking high doses of zinc every single day, either via IV. If you already have symptoms, I recommend the IV therapy. Finding a doctor that will send an RN to your house. I'm doing house calls right now just for companies every single week.
Wow.
Yeah, corporate companies paying me just to go to keep their staff healthy because they can't afford to have anybody missing work.
Well, that's just awesome.
Right? I
Yeah.
love it. I'm like, hey, I started doing that with my staff too. I'm like, make sure you guys put yourself on rotations. Give yourself your vitamin C with the glutathione, your vitamin D shot, boom, and then put a little zinc. I have an antiviral
So,
IV
so you
drip.
have like your own little cocktail, little
The
compounded.
Dr. Jenny cocktail.
The Dr. Jen. Well, I tell you what, this has been fantastic. This has been educational for me, as well as our listeners. And my goodness, you got educated on COVID-19 and about 20 other things as well. And if you have any additional questions, you probably get a million questions. What's the best way for someone to reach out? Is it through your website? Do you have like
they
an
can
ask?
follow me
You have
on-
like an Ask Dr. Jen.
I have a at Dr. Jenny Wilkins on Facebook and on Instagram.
Okay.
So they can send messages through there, or they can call me at 941-388-0800. That's the local number. And if you have listeners from across the globe, we have a toll-free number. It's 888-388-7237. And then, of course, agevital.com. That's age, like what is your age? And then vital, like vital health. So agevital.com. And I have email blasts, newsletters, and messaging board on there. And if they call us, they know that they're going to be speaking to an actual healthcare professional. I'll be talking to a pharmacist, a PharmD, a nurse, and they all know my protocols. Anybody that comes and visits my facility knows that this is a place where they're going to find answers and they're going to find prevention. So all I'm doing is boosting immune system and teaching the body how to heal itself.
That's fantastic. Thank you for all you do to keep us healthy and safe. There you have it, folks. I mean, this is, I really feel I should charge for this. I don't know. I just feel guilty that I'm just giving you all this amazing information for free. Maybe I should put this on Amazon on a little disc. And,
Right.
Here's what we'll do as well. So for all of our listeners around the world, we're in 35 different countries, by the way. But
Oh, wow.
for all of our listeners around the world that are listening today, if you use promo code The Daily Life Coach, you get to pay regular price. All right, so keep that in mind for any purchase. That's a joke. So,
Should I be charging you 10 cents?
you know what? I want my dime on some of this stuff. So we're going to have to work that out. But agevital.com, and definitely, most definitely,
So handsome.
reach out to Dr. Jen. Thank you, Dr. Jen. Now you just got to make me look a little younger. You just got to bring me back and knock about 5 years off me.
I don't know. I thought you were
One of those
38,
cocktail
39.
shots.
Yes.
One of those super antiviral.
So
All right.
come in tomorrow.
All right.
I got you covered.
I'm coming in tomorrow, and we're going to do this. Live fearless, my friends. Have a great day.